Streaming is on.
Greetings and welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I will be your host this evening. Here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, show and tells, and also what have you done in your shop or at the flying field lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. And if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky will not approve you. Sparky is the proprietor of Stunt Hangar and this platform. If you are inclined to not come in and just want to watch us on YouTube, please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I will do my best to make your comments part of the show. Sometimes I can hardly get a word in myself, so be patient with me. I will I will notice your comments, and I will try to get them in hopefully before we've gone on to another subject. Now, if you find the Stun Hanger video hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please like and subscribe and share the videos. That helps the channel grow. You know, when you go into YouTube and you see those videos on the right side, those suggested videos, well, those are popular videos that the uh, YouTube has decided you might be interested in. So by liking and sharing, that helps get our videos there. So please help us grow. And if you would consider to join our YouTube membership, it's only $4.99 a month. We have three tiers. That's the lowest tier, and I'm also a subscriber myself. It's less than 17 cents a day, and your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stun Hanger. And with your memberships, you get special badges. You get unlimited replays of these member-only videos that only members can see. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show where he'll answer your questions regarding building model airplanes, of course. You can also use the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box on the YouTube side. And I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. Um, I want to also encourage you to please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words you wouldn't say around your children and your grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post the link I was talking about at, let me see here, at stunthanger.com. And I'm going to post it now. Okay, so it's posted. And hopefully I'll have some guests and some friends come in, and that'll be awesome. So let's see how we do. Now I want to apologize for last Friday. I just had internet problems, and I could not uh, connect to 8x8, and it was a major problem. So I really apologize for that. I know I like to get started at 6:45 on Monday and Friday evenings, but sometimes I guess things are unavoidable, right? Let me see. Is my camera on? Can you guys see me? I see my airplane. There we go. How about that? Did the whole introduction with just my voice. So, oh boy. Anyways, hey, when you come on in, let's talk about what you guys been doing for fun. What you've been doing. I actually made something. Where is that? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Huh. Well, I made a tank, and I'm going to show the guys, and I'm very proud of it. You know, one thing that Sparky says from time to time is, "Hey, Tom, how's it going?"
Hey, Charles. It's going well. How
Good,
about you?
doing well. Actually, I'm glad to get in. I had a hard time. When was that? Friday. I just couldn't connect to the internet. It was just crazy.
I remember that.
Yeah. You know, I think it's because I was on the cover of People magazine, world's most sexiest man alive, and just people just broke the internet. At least at my house, right?
Okay.
That's what my wife says.
Okay.
So I'm not necessarily believing that, but my wife says that all the time.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, she's so funny. She actually goes in stores and she asks people did they see her husband on the cover of People magazine. So what you been doing lately?
Oh, I'm working on a flight streak that I'm building from scratch. So it's it was progressing, but Mike was nice enough to send me some lead outs. I haven't gotten those yet, but I'm kind of in a holding pattern till I get those installed because I can't close in the center section or the
Right.
leading edge until I
Yeah.
get those attached to the bell crank.
Right.
And normally I have, I've got servos, I've got all kinds of stuff for radio control planes, but control line planes, I don't have that stuff just sitting around. So
Yeah.
that was really nice of Mike to offer to send them to
Yeah,
me.
that was. If I needed them, I would have asked him to send me some. But I'm okay on that stuff. I believe I do. But if I find that I don't, I'll just text Mike.
Mike is the new online hobby shop now.
Yeah. I'd like to get some of that unobtainium wood he got.
I can show you what I've got done so far. I guess I got to back up.
Let me make you bigger here.
Oh,
very nice.
So I've got, my floating bell crank installed, and
very good.
It's awful clear Monaco.
Very good, Tom. That's.
I'm gonna sheet the whole leading edge on this one.
Oh, good. Yeah.
A molded sheeting leading edge.
That works good, Tom.
Sheet those 3 ribs in the center section. But anyway, those are the ribs that I cut out on my homemade laser cutter.
Oh wow, man, that's really good.
So,
oh, that's awesome. So is it still about 4 minutes per rib, or you cut it down since you've?
well, I got it down to 2 minutes per rib, or just under 2 minutes per rib.
That's pretty good.
So
that's almost as fast
that went
as you
pretty
can cut
quick.
them out by hand.
What's that?
That's almost as fast as you can cut them out by hand. Just yanking on your chain a little bit.
I suppose by the time you figure in all the programming and everything,
yeah.
But anyway, I think it'll go faster in the future.
I'm sure it will.
Plus, if you wanted to make the rib a little bit bigger, I mean, it'd be so easy for you to do that, just to make it a 1/16 of an inch bigger all the way around or something.
Exactly. And I changed the plan has that they're different shape on the leading edge because I wanted to sheet the leading edge. So I just changed it in the CAD program to make that rounded rib in the front. So I can just sheet around the whole front end of the plane.
Are you putting a little balsa right at the leading edge of that rib to back up behind your formed sheeting?
I didn't plan. I mean, I could have designed a little cutout in the rib, I guess. But
I found what I do. So I build basically like on the Millennial system. So that's where you got a notch in there, and you got some 1/8 by 1/2 or 1/4, whatever. You stick that in there, and then that supports the wing, keeps it level. Well, when you get it out, you just kind of make sure you take the edges off that piece on the front, get it flush with the front of the rib itself. Then when you lay your formed leading edge on there, a little backup right at the leading edge, which is good to have because that's where it always gets hit, you know. And that little backup there helps a little bit, just to strengthen a little bit in that area. It doesn't weigh hardly anything at all.
Okay. Well, next time.
Yeah, think about it next time.
Yeah,
You know how I sheet my leading edges. I don't form for the whole leading edge. I've got those formed leading edges you could buy at the hobby strip. They're airfoil leading edge. You can get them for less than $1. Okay.
You used to be able to get them for less than $1.
Well, you used to be able to get them for 25 cents, but anyway, I take those. I'll wrap them with Saran wrap. You know, make sure they're waterproof, and then I'll cut. It takes, I think, 1.5 inch wide strip to form around that, and I'll form that around that leading edge. You know, using the gauze wrap, not the gauze wrap, but you know, the wrapping and all that. And what that does, there's enough give in there that it'll give to where it fits on that leading edge right at the very front, real quick and easy. And then I'll glue that in place. Once that's glued in, it's real easy to make that slight curve going back. So I'll just glue that on and wet the one side and make that slight curve. And now I do it top and bottom, and now I've got basically the same thing as your formed leading edge, but it was real quick and easy. I didn't have to make the buck, you know.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And it works on multiple wings, you know. So
hi, Eddie, and hi, Gary.
I can't see anybody.
Well, we're here. We see you right there.
All I see is just a bunch of squares bumping. You know, turning yellow, green, blue, black.
Oh, mine's yellow, I think.
Just give it a moment. Maybe it'll clear up. Because I see you and I see everybody. Okay. I see Ed's top of Ed's head.
Yeah, Eddie, you're like me. You're going bald up there.
Yeah, old man.
Hey, Bill.
Hi.
Hi, Bill.
Hi.
Hey, Bill.
Anybody done any flying lately or anything?
Hey, did you test out a new tank today, Charles?
I did. As a matter of fact, I was trying to find it to show it to you. Did you get my text?
I did.
What did I do with that tank? I just had it.
That always happens. You'll find it when you don't want it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so proud of it because all I could think of was Sparky. You know how Sparky says, this was not bought, it was made.
Yeah.
And this tank is unique. It's my first Clunk and Uniflow metal tank. I've built Clunk tanks before that out of metal, but never a Uniflow that both Clunk as well in metal.
How'd it work for you?
You know, I had it on a test stand and it ran nice, and I checked the tank for leaks. There's no leaks, and it fits in the tight compartment that I have. That's the beauty of making it from scratch, because this plane is a scratch-built Chipmunk, and it's not the traditional size spacing for a commercial tank. So I can't buy a tank from Dubro or from anybody that will fit. It's just because it's 1 inch and 5/8 wide, the spacing for the tank compartment. And most tanks,
the old Nobler size.
Yeah, so exactly. Because actually, I had a Nobler fuel tank in there earlier, but it did not have enough volume, and so I needed more ounces. So I made this tank. It's actually 4.8 ounces. I am talking to you while I'm looking for it. I cannot believe this. Let's hope I don't step on it and crush all my work.
Make sure you're not sitting on it, Charles.
Yeah, I'm not
I
sitting
flew
on it.
control line this morning and free flight this afternoon.
Oh, very good. Very good, Bill.
Bill, you
And
know
I
free
did
flight
outside
isn't really
loops
free.
with my control line.
Bill, you know free flight isn't really free.
I'll say.
Yeah.
What'd you say about your control line?
You
I
drew
did
up
outside
right, so
loop.
you know.
Oh, outside loop. Yeah, I saw your video.
Yeah.
Good.
I'll be back. Maybe I left it downstairs. I'll be right back, you guys.
Okay, we'll
Don't-
talk about it.
Yeah, don't burn
We'll
down the
talk
place
about-
while I'm gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making good progress, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill, do you start from inverted or upright?
Inverted.
Inverted, that's good. That's the way you'll do it in the pattern. So how'd it feel when you got through it?
Okay. And
Were your knees shaking a little?
well, I tried it yesterday, and the first time I tried it over tall grass, and I could hear it hitting the grass. I came so low, but then after that, I kept it up higher, and it's not a big deal. It was silly that I was so scared, but
Well, you know, it's not silly. You know, there's certain maneuvers that you have to do in the pattern that will challenge your sane abilities. One of them is the outside square loop.
yeah, I can see that.
And the four-leaf clover could be a problem for you.
Yeah.
Because you start
I
up
rebuilt
here.
my plane 3 times because of that stupid maneuver.
Yep. And of course, the reverse wing over is another tough one because that coming straight down from, and you got to turn right here.
Yeah.
And you want to turn here, but you usually turn up here, you know.
Turn early when you're learning.
Yeah.
Not late.
So you doing
Did
the
you find
outside
it?
square, Bill? Yeah, I did.
I'll
Are you doing the outside square, Bill?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, that was the scariest maneuver for me to master. You know, it was like every time I took off, I would go, okay, I'm going to do it this time. This time I'm going to do it. And I'd go around a lap, and I'd go, okay, next lap. I'd go, okay, next lap. Next lap. Okay, next lap. And then it's like the motor would stall or stutter or something. I go, oh, I'm running out of gas, so I'll do the next flight. And then, because to execute, I mean, the plane's flying perfectly fine, and to give it straight down, boy, that is not easy to do.
Oh.
You know, and then
It's got its twist.
so your first one, at least my first one, was like down, down, down. I mean, almost stalled the plane trying to do that. And then I thought about it, I go, well, you know what, to make it easier. So I went and started a wing over and weights at the very highest, and then I gave it down there. So I pretty much did an outside square over my head. And then I eventually just brought it down lower and lower. But yeah, so this is what I was talking about.
Make yourself big.
I'll make myself big.
Wow.
Okay, I'm big now. So, so this is what is not bought but made, and this is I was talking to my buddy here, John Miller, about what he thought about making a Uniflow Clunk Tank. This is a Clunk Tank. So I have a Clunk in there, but I also have down this side a pipe that touches the side and it's soldered there, and that's this pipe here. Then of course I have the regular pickup, which has the clunk on it, and then I have my overflow. But it's awesome. I'm really excited about it. It fits perfect in my tank compartment, and I'm expecting it to give me even better engine runs if that's possible.
What ounce is that? What you make it out to be?
You know what? It's like 4.8 ounces, and that's one of the beauties of making your own tank. You can make it whatever volume you want. You know, I wanted a discriminant of 1 inch high, and then the width was set by the compartment of the airplane, and then the length, I use that to determine the volume, and that's just a mathematical equation.
Yeah.
Which I don't know top of my head, but I calculated it, using math, what the length, and the length ended up being, in this case, 5 3/8 long, and an inch tall, and an inch and 5/8 wide, and that works out to 4.8 cubic. I'm not sure what is it, cubic ounces or something, but it's the volume. It's a volume unit.
4.8 cubic inches would give and how many cubic inches is 1 ounce of fuel? That's what you got to determine.
Right. I did the math already, but this is 4.8 ounces. And by the way, I made one first out of paper. I actually used the manila folders. I wanted to see how much material I needed to wrap around. And so I actually made one out of paper, basically. First, put it together, tape it together, made sure it fit in the compartment, and then I made one out of metal. And I wish I had the time and space and energy to actually do a show and tell on how to make it. I did use a hardwood. I forgot what kind of wood, but it's a very hard wood, as kind of like a old buck in a sense. So because actually, when the wood's inside here, let me bring myself again. When the wood's inside here, right? Actually, I drill a hole into the top end cap. I put the tube in. The tube it sits there because there's a hole drilled in the hardwood, and it stabilizes the tube. So when I solder it, it's very stable.
Excellent.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's again, something which is not necessarily intuitive, but that's how I made it. And this is my third tank I've made. My Red Strega, I've made 2 of them. My Nobler, Bill Biles, and again, thank you, Bill. He helped me. Actually, he made it, but he showed me how to make these, and he was taught by Ed Southwick. And so I feel really fortunate, and I'd love to pass it on because I don't want to just know it for myself. I think it's a huge advantage to make a custom tank because it'll fit your compartment well.
So do the metal tanks last longer than the paper tanks you make?
Yeah, I haven't tried the paper one, but I imagine so. I mean, I think it's a good likelihood that it would.
Oh, okay.
Oh, by the way, this is 8/1000 of an inch thick metal tin. 8/1000 of an inch.
So
Did you
I
make
bought
yourself?
bell
Did
crank
you make-
off of Amazon, and it's the perfect brand. Are
All right.
they're still in business?
I don't know. I thought Brodak bought them out.
Yeah, I'm not, the
I thought they did too.
Perfect, I think, is still in business, but they make beakers and stuff like that for chemistry labs and industry and stuff. But I don't know about the airplane stuff.
Oh yeah, Bill. Congratulations on your outside loops.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you did it.
Yeah.
I got another question for Charles on his tank there.
All right.
Charles, how did you form your end pieces? Did you make you a little fitting for that?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so I had another piece of, let me make myself big. Well, I'm fine small. I took another piece of hardwood and I traced the mold that I have here. That's out of hardwood, right? I traced it and made a rectangle, and I used a chisel, and I chiseled out. Actually, at first I drilled holes. I made the shape, so it's a rectangle, and then I just drilled holes using a
Drill press.
a drill press so that I would have the bottom of the drill at the same height, and then I just chiseled out all the wood. So I had a really flat machined bottom, and then this other wood mold would fit inside that space. I put the sheet metal over that hardwood and just hammered the wood into that. Of course, it went down about 1/8 of an inch and formed, pretty roughly formed. Let me show you. This came out pretty nice. I mean, for not being a commercial operation, let you can see it. That came out pretty nice. Look at the corners.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Good gracious.
I'm
Yeah.
sure I'll
Yeah.
get better as time goes on, right?
Charles,
So you punch pressed it. How about that?
Yeah. Out of wood.
Very neat.
Yeah, really
Sure.
hard wood, and I just did that.
Charles, how did you handle the seam where is that just an overlap?
It's just an overlap, about 1/8 of an inch overlap. Yeah, I was at. That's why I wanted to make one out of paper first, because I wanted to see what the actual width of the sheet of tin I needed to cut. So when I folded over, halfway down the side, there was an even overlap in the middle. And
Now, okay. Here's the $50,000 question. Okay, so you did a you did a whatchamacallit, you did a rectangular tank.
right.
But how did you manage to work? I always had, whenever I tried to build a tank, the end caps. How did you manage to get those corners, or are they cut and then just
You
started
just-
with
you
the
just know it.
Yeah, I did do some cuts.
like they were just punched down on a press?
I did do some cuts in the corner, and I fold them around. I mean, when I put them in that depression in the hardwood, when it came out, I could see how I was trying to make that shape. And I just kind of helped it, and then I just gently tapped it as I took the piece of wood, and I put that cap that wasn't completely finished yet, and I hang on a second. I had that wood in the garage. If you want, I'll go get it. But the other wood, I just put the cap on it, and I just tapped it all the way around to flatten the tin around it, and then I just trimmed it a little bit.
So you hammered it into shape and then you trimmed it, rather than hammering it into shape and after it's been trimmed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but because I didn't know how much length I would need, because when you bend metal, there's always a little extra, so it was oversized, and I just trimmed it to reduce the amount of material.
Yeah, you would have to. I mean, wouldn't be able to understand how you can get like a perfect 1/8 of an inch all the way around.
Yeah,
It's just having that piece of material just being that much oversized.
Yeah, I was trying to get 1/8 of an inch. I got pretty close. I mean, that's the
No,
TLR.
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, it can be 1/4 of an inch. It just
Yeah.
I was always wondering how you manage those corners on the end cap.
I don't know. Is that a clunk tank or what?
Yes, it's a Uniflow and a Clunk Tank that I made.
What did you use? What did you use for the clunk? The flex hose.
I have a good friend, Dave Riggs. I want to give him a shout out. He actually machined them for me using his
Brass or copper.
it's brass. I think it's brass. He machined it. Matter of fact, they're really beautiful. Let me go grab it for you, so I'll show you. And I'll grab that other piece of wood. I'll be right back.
Terrific.
Okay.
Yeah, would help. I was talking to I asked
I
Sparky.
got something I'll show you.
Asked Sparky about that Cosmonato clunk he uses, the carbon fiber one.
Yeah.
And you can't get in there to replace the clunk if something happens. Oh no. So he said, yeah, you can replace it if you want to cut it open. Yeah, I'm not cutting the $100 fuel tank open. I'd rather have the metal ones where I could desolder them, get back in there, and then resolder them, because I've had to do that with these the older perfect wedge tanks. Oh yeah. Where the copper tubing would I've had them split.
Brass
Brass
tubing.
tubing would split, and you get about a half a tank of fuel out of it, and it'd quit because it'd suck air. So I had to go in there and resolder new tubing and stuff like that in there. I believe I'd rather have the metal tank than that carbon fiber one, even though the carbon fiber is lighter. But I mean, if something did happen, I guess you could send it back to him and he'd fix it. You'd think it'd be warranted.
Well, I did something that's probably stupid, but I'm bad about spending the whole evening making a little model of something. Let me see if y'all can see. Okay. Making a little model of something so that I can prove to myself it works and how it works. And if you take the weight that everybody tells you that a carbon fiber tank weighs, and you take the weight of a plastic tank, and you take the weight of a metal tank, now you build up a balance bar, and you put that much weight on it, and you try to see how much difference it actually makes to the tail, because they say, oh, you can use this much less weight in the tail if you use this super lightweight tank. It's not all the way forward. That thing's behind the motor. So it's not making near as much difference as you think it is. I think you're wasting your money spending $100 for a fuel tank. Okay, you save a quarter of an ounce, eighth of an ounce.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you saved anything. And then you got to mount it by the ends. You can't mount it in the middle or conventional ways. You got to mount it by the ends where it's got doublers on it, where the lap over joints would be, or you burst it.
You just got to figure out how to mount your tank in front of your engine.
Do what?
Yeah.
In front of your engine? Leave it to Steve.
Yeah, that's called a mid-engine.
You wouldn't have to add as much weight to the tail.
Have a mid-engine airplane.
Well, I got to looking at the thing the other night.
That's one of the reasons.
Go ahead.
I said that's one of the reasons why I went to the plastic clunk tanks years ago.
Me too.
Because weight wise, there's a little bit of difference weight wise, but I don't have to worry about them unless if I stove it in hard enough to burst the tank, I destroyed the engine as well. You know.
Well, I destroyed my Nobler 2 years ago. Mike was there, and that thing hit so straight down that the motor still runs. The Nobler was destroyed, but the motor I've got on another airplane now. I've got it on my Cavalier profile now. But the fuel tank looked like an accordion, but I just took that thing and popped it out, let it get warm one time, and I've got it on the plane too.
Yeah,
those plastic tanks are a lot tougher than people think they are.
Yeah, they are.
But
now, I know we're going to get back to Charles here in a second, but I wanted to show you this before I forget it. Charles, this is what I was talking about. Let me get back far enough so you can see it. This is what I was talking about. You can just put all your props. Just put all your props in there.
Okay.
And you just take this and put it together.
Oh,
and just
like
screw
that.
it down. Screw it down to where it fits. It's from a craft shop.
It's a what?
It's for pasta, I believe.
Well, this one was made for paintbrushes, but they do have one very similar for pasta.
Well, that's cool.
So where would I obtain those at?
This was just a craft store. I think it was Michael's is where I got this one. It was either Michael's or, well, Michael's is the only one still around because they bought the other one out.
You just use your Pringles tube.
Well, Pringles tube isn't long enough. Pringles tube's only 11 3/4 or something like that. Some of those are 13-inch. So
I don't have anything that big.
Idea. That is an awesome idea. Thank you very much.
Well, you're quite welcome. I just put a D-ring on the end of the darn thing. I just put a D-ring on the end of the handle and put it on my belt or wherever if I'm carrying the stuff down there. Now, I use a wagon. I cheat. It's so far from our parking lot to where we fly that I use a wagon. But you can put that on just around your hand, or you can put it on a D-ring on your belt, whatever. And then when you get there, just lay it with your stuff, inside your flight box. But it just works, and it's cheap. There's only about $3.
Oh, great. That was my next question.
Well, they're cheap. They're cheap.
You find everything there, Charles?
I did. So let me make myself big again. All right.
You like that, don't you, Charles?
I like that. I do. So this is the clunk that was machined by.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, like I said, they are beautiful, especially when they're brand new. They like jewelry.
What does he put on it now? A piece of just regular fuel tubing?
Yeah, I use the red fuel tubing. I don't know if there's anything special about it, but
No.
I'm doing what Bill told me and what Ed probably told Bill Biles. So that's the only time I specifically use that red tubing. And you can find that red tubing at Brodax.
Yeah.
And
I've got a bunch of it downstairs. I ordered about 3 feet of it.
Right, I'm going to place an order for some more.
I would make one suggestion though.
Is that softer?
I would make one suggestion though. If you're going to put that inside the tank, did you think to put those clips on it?
You know, I asked Bill Biles, and he says he's never had a problem with it coming loose. You know, it's a new.
Bill hadn't had a problem. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, so I have those clips. I use them on the outside, but I was just afraid of some entanglement of something of some sort, somehow, some way. So free and loose, you know.
Well, that looked like it was long enough that the tubing fits over it, that it's probably going to be fine.
Yeah, and he put some burrs on it, so it's not going to slip off. I don't know if you can.
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
Okay, it'd be fine.
Yeah,
Bill's
so
pretty
burrs,
sharp.
and like it's new tubing. I mean, I don't go out and use my old tubing. I use brand new tubing.
Yeah, I met him at the Nats a few years ago. He's pretty sharp.
Yeah.
I think it was.
So like, here's this hardwood, and I put a hook on it. It's a real nice fit. This is one I was going to make, and I can pull it out because it's a really tight fit. All right. Okay. Yeah. Now, regarding how I make the end caps, you see how I chiseled out that flat spot?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be beautiful, right?
Nope.
And so, I first was using this inside of this, but then the end cap was too tight to fit around this. So I got another one which is a little bit slightly oversized. I don't know if you can see that, but it's slightly oversized. Doesn't have to be this long, by the way. I just didn't. I feel like wasting it. So now I didn't bring the metal, but I put the metal and I just tap this in here, and then I wrap it around this, and I just actually will trim it a little bit. I'm sorry. I'll trim it a little bit, the corners, and just pound them around there till they get flat. And that's basically it.
You know, one thing, Charles, you could consider doing, if you want to get some piece of 3/16 inch steel and cut it out instead of doing it in the hardwood, do it in steel, and you just set that on another piece of steel. So you got a steel bottom, and you just set it on there, so you don't have to. You don't have to. Huh?
I'm sure he can make a tool and die for that, but I don't know if he's, he got the machine shop and the machining skills to do it out of block steel.
Well, it's not block; it's thin steel plate. But the idea is that you could do it out of aluminum if you wanted to. Steel is just a little more durable. I mean, what you've got is going to probably last for all the tanks you might need to build.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be building tanks professionally, but
who knows, that might make some money.
Then go to the steel because it'll hold your tolerances longer and it'll last longer for you. You just cut out your opening, set on another piece of steel, and you can use your wood block like you've got to punch it through. So
get you an arbor press and use an arbor press and just press it down in there.
Yep.
You don't have to sit there and beat on it.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was at Brodak, I should have watched to see how they made their tank.
They used a punch press.
They have a regular punch press?
They had a punch press that Mr. Hunt made for them. Bob's father.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was an automation engineer, and that was an incredibly smart man.
Yeah.
Because I know that they'll make it any size, width, height.
Yeah.
You get more out of it. And so I figured they got something adjustable there. They got a whole lot of dies, to make certain size tanks. But
on all kinds of shapes, too.
So, Charles, what you should do is next time you build one, videotape it and stick it on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I was, my garage is such a mess.
You didn't want nobody to see it.
It'd be so embarrassing to do that. I mean, that's kind of what inhibits me from doing that. But I guess I could always do it someplace else. But, yeah, that's the only thing. And also the space. My garage is so congested. And what got me building was watching Sparky, because Sparky is in a real small space. And when I saw him working in his shop that he lives in, not the one that's in Ohio, not the one that's in St. Louis, but the one in Dayton, Ohio.
His apartment.
department, I said, you know what? Look at Sparky. And because I was going to try to clean my garage, but really that will take forever to clean my garage. It's like so congested. Where do you put stuff? Kind of situation. You know, I would need to move everything out and store it in storage, and then bring it over slowly but surely. But then
So
that's money.
now we have somebody on here that can laser cut ribs and different things. Now it Tank. Who does bell cranks? With my next airplane, I don't know who to get stuff from.
That's it. That's it. Charles gonna have all this mail now. Make me a tank. This.
Yeah,
I made my own bell crank.
Well, just look at it this way. You got John. He can draw up the plans. Send him to Tom. He can cut all of it, and then send just the tank section. Over, and then Charles can make the tank. And then they can just ship all the stuff to you.
The only problem is going to be the way the shipping is right now. The way the mail service and everything works, it'll take us 3 months to get it.
Well, yeah, that's just like I ordered some of this carbon fiber that Tryon talks about.
Okay.
Yeah. This one isn't mine. I had some, but I didn't get it. And it's only 3 grams a square yard, and it sold for 15 pounds. I'm like, shouldn't have sold for grams?
Yeah.
It seems like 15 pounds for something that weighs 3 grams is way too much money.
It does. That is, you got ripped off.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Them damn Europeans.
Not even an ounce, and you got charged 15 pounds.
Them damn Europeans, boy, they seen me coming.
Crazy American, he won't know no difference. We charge him.
They don't know metrics,
The bitch was it cost 11 pounds to send that 3 grams of shit over.
Was that pound sterling or?
Huh? Yeah.
Was that pound sterling?
At least they said it was minus VAT tax. So they didn't charge me VAT tax. But
I don't understand all that mess.
Because I heard that VAT tax can be up to 50% or something like that.
Yep. Value added tax is what it's called.
Yeah, value added.
That's because you didn't buy it from them.
Value added tax.
I have a comment from Jeff Riley on the chat. He says, Charles, 1.875 cubic inches equals 1 fluid ounce. And he also says, next time, smash the 2 wood molds in the vise. It'll press slower and the molds will be more reusable. Okay.
He's right. That will work better.
Yep.
Because the punch mold doesn't really punch. It really just presses slowly and then backs off. He's right.
Charles, you're talking about you built your shop at that. This last week I started putting my shop together. I had to take everything that was in there and move it out of there. And so the guy that was renting the room, he's gone. And so I moved everything over to another room. And then I had to patch the holes and put in the wall. That's done. And now I started laying out. I've got my tape measure and laying, measuring and that, because I don't want to just haphazardly put it together, because as you go in there, you start putting things where you normally wouldn't put it if you were working in there, is what I'm trying to say. So I've been in there, sitting in there for an hour a day, sitting there looking at everything, trying to figure out, okay, so I got to, basically I'm beginning to come together with how I want my workbench, where I want my power tools, my drill press, bandsaw. I want the bandsaw on a smaller bench that will nest up with the other tools, but I want to bring it out so that I can turn it. So if I got long pieces I need to cut, I can cut them. I can get out where it's clear to cut them. Have you ever tried cutting 36 or 48 inch long balsa when you're scratch building, cutting out your parts? It can get really tough working that way. But if you could get it out where you got plenty of room. I can also take the jigsaw and put it in place of the bandsaw. But in other words, the idea is to get it where I can handle longer pieces. I've got some. So anyway, I got that figured out, and where the shelves are going to be, I think I got that. Anyway, I've also got a spot for the TV. I figured that out.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's been fun. But it's an integral part of setting up a shop. And I've had like 3 or 4 different shops, and I know what went wrong in each one of them. One thing, I will not build with the table up against the wall. I want to be able to get around all 4 sides of the table.
Yeah. Now my room is kind of small, so I put my tub against the wall, but my table has casters on it. So if I want, I can move it out. Matter of fact, I've tried to put casters on most things.
Yeah.
So I can move things around.
Well, a comment was made, and I can't remember who made it, but I'll use it here. When you put your table up against the wall, and that's where it is, what happens is your building space gets smaller and smaller because you start stacking stuff at the back of your table. And so now you get less and less. Pretty soon you can't hardly fit a wing on there,
Yeah.
Well, the one thing you got to remember, if you put your building bench up to the wall, it's got to be on the south wall so that when you build a model, it'll fly counterclockwise around the circle.
Now you were reaching on that one, Steve. So I take it down. I take it in New Zealand. You got to put it on the north wall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Wall, yeah.
Well, I don't know how I hope you have brakes on your tables, because every time I put anything on casters, at some point or another, I get to thinking and put my hand against it, and the table goes that way, and I about fall down.
Well,
they have stops. They have brakes. Yeah, they have brakes. Yeah,
I had to do that to mine.
Yeah,
one of the things when you use casters in your shop, you got to have good casters. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
you can't buy the cheap ones. You got to buy the good ones.
So you use castor oil on those?
And then,
oh Jesus, it's rubbing off, Steve. It's rubbing off.
Actually, I got one on the south wall, one in the middle, and one on the north wall.
So what is the middle? I understand your line of thinking what the south and the north wall are for. What's the middle wall for? Flying at the equator?
In the middle, so I can walk around it.
I thought it was for flying at the equator.
Well, how big is your table, though? I thought I'd always use an old door, solid core door. It's what I've always built on.
Yep.
Well, I got a chance. My wife's work, somebody, a large person, that's all I'm going to say, leaned on the table in the conference room. And this thing is a beautiful 44 foot by 8 foot table, and broke one of the legs. So they took the other 3 off and threw them away and had the table up against the wall, brought in a new table, and it's trying to get rid of the old one. Well, I said, sure, I'll take it. I'd love to have it. Didn't think about the fact it's 4 floors up, and you got to take it down through a stairwell, not the elevator, because it won't fit in the elevator. So my brother-in-law fought this thing for 2 hours and got it home, got it down the stairwell and got it home. I mean, we were whipped. I was on the bottom of this thing, and let me tell you, it's substantially built. That sucker is heavy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I got it home, and I built a table for it. It's up 36 inches high, or 32 inches high, I think it is, so that I can stand at it and work. Because if I sit down, I'm done. I sit down, I get to thinking about things, and then it's over with. But stand up and build and be comfortable. And I got 2 shelves under it where I can stack balsa wood over here and tools over here. And then I've got a table behind me with my power tools on it.
But what I did was...
It don't matter how big the table is, you're going to fill it up. You're going to run out of space, because I end up working in this much space.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We used to have steel case here in Hayworth and everything like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So you could buy damaged tables or desks from steel case. So I got
a steel case desk.
I got an old steel case table. That's the one I can sit down and cut out ribs and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then for the other one against the other wall, Menards had a sale on. It was just 2 by 6 frames. and then it would take a 3/4 inch board.
Mm-hmm.
So I had them cut, and I put them on the other wall, and that's what I set the bandsaws on and all that stuff, and underneath the kits. But then for my center table, Harbor Freight has that woodworking tape. You know what a woodworking tape is? It has a wood vise and all that.
Yeah.
They had it on sale for $150, and then I used a super coupon for 20% off of that. And I got that thing. And that's my center table. And I don't know, it isn't very wide. It's a woodworking table. But it's got all them square holes in it so you can clamp stuff down or whatever.
Yeah.
Now I just got I got a table with a bunch of holes in it because I've never used any. I don't have the clamps to clamp stuff down or whatever.
Oh, shucks.
But
I had a good one I was going to get you, but you just ruined it.
Yeah.
I figured he clamped his 1/16 sand and started sanding it and then wondered why it was bowed.
Speaking of,
I use a folding table. Now, this sounds because most of us think that they're awful flimsy and twisty and all that, and they are up to a point. But you take a folding table set out, and then what I do is I use 1x2s, and I build a top that sits on top of that, and that allows me to get underneath there and shim and put the levels on it and get it straight and level, and then I just clamp it down. I've got it set up there where I just clamp it down onto that, and so that gives me a flat surface. And I put sheetrock on the top of it so I could pin into it and all of that stuff. And that's before that I used a desk. And the problem with using a desk, I got one down in the basement. Problem is getting it up out of the basement and into the room. The doors are too narrow. I have to take the top off the desk and the legs off the desk to get it into that room. So that's going to stay down in the basement. I'll build another one of these as a folding one. Yeah.
Let me give you a suggestion.
Use the pool table.
Oh, a lot of guys do that. Bill Little does that. But let me give you an easy way out. Go buy someplace like Harbor Freight, not Harbor Freight, I'm sorry. Go buy someplace that sells, every town I've ever been in always has a place that sells like Lowe's, except I had the word until a second ago, but you can buy old doors or doors that were not used, but get solid core doors. Take your 4-foot level with you and just check it. You'll find a level one. Take that and lay it in the back of a pickup truck or something, take it home. All you got to do is build a frame under it, because that sucker, if it ain't warped when you get it, it ain't going to warp. Those things are strong. And
I got a question.
Okay.
Who's got the bird?
I do.
Okay.
I got two lovebirds over there and there.
Okay, I just keep hearing something chirping. I didn't know
Indian
if
Riley.
somebody's chair was squeaking or if it was a bird.
No, they want me to come over and play with them. I hadn't played with them yet today. But,
speaking of workbenches, who uses glass tops?
I do.
Okay.
I would if I could find something that I could afford.
What thickness do you use, and is it tempered?
Yes, and 1/4 inch.
Just 1/4 inch?
Yeah, just go to any glass shop. I go to Pop's Glass here.
Well, I didn't know
Pop's Glass here, and they'll tell you
thickness you had to have, and if it was actually tempered or not, because I was checking on a 3/8 inch piece, and it was going to cost me $186.
Yep.
What you need
gotta
to
have
ask
deep
for.
pockets. That's why I don't have a glass top. I call
What you do, guys.
I'll give you a hint.
Go ahead.
Okay, and then I'll let you go ahead. Okay. What you do is keep an eye out if you see that one of the banks, their drive-up windows being replaced. Try to get over there and talk that guy out of that piece of glass, because it's an inch thicker.
Yeah.
Well,
Daddy,
if you can get
my
that,
dad's
you
got
got it.
He's got a piece of tempered glass that's been outside leaning up against the house for about 35 years.
Use it.
Yeah, been sitting there. It's a sliding door, but you can't cut it. You know, it's too big. How do you can't cut tempered glass once it's
okay.
You can, but I mean, I don't have the means to do it.
You can call a glass shop and they can cut it. They've got they've got a thing. They go out there and they score it 3 or 4 times, and then they go down and tap it with this little hammer. You think, what is this idiot doing? And then a couple minutes later, you see the whole side just fall off.
Yeah.
The one I've got downstairs was it was the front of a gas station, the front window in the gas station, and it had gotten broken. And I went by and asked the guy if I could buy that old piece of glass. He said, how big a piece can you carry? I said, well, the back of my pickup truck. He went up there and cut the thing in half and then cut the broken section out of it. And we loaded the pieces in the back of my truck. He says, I just soon give it to you as take it and throw it in the dumpster.
Yeah.
So I gave him $10, bought his lunch, and I had plenty of tapered glass.
You got to be careful though about glass being set a certain way, because it'll actually move.
It'll take a set, yeah. And once you move it, it'll shatter.
Yeah, glass will warp and stuff if it isn't supported just right. You see them; they set it on kind of an angle, so it doesn't warp or whatever. But
the other thing that you can look for on either Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist is somebody is getting rid of their shower glass doors.
Yeah.
Those would probably be the perfect size. The glass they use for showers, bathroom showers.
Well, right now the table I've got, it's from my wife's work. It's about 40 inches deep and about 7 foot long.
Oh, good grief! That's huge.
It's a steel frame table. It's an industrial table.
Oh, that's perfect.
That used to have the fiberboard top with the mica and everything on it. Well, it's set out on my front porch. Front porch is leaked. That's all gone. But I was going to replace it anyway with some 3/4 inch blonde wood cabinet grade plywood, because it's thick, it's smooth, and then put the glass on top of that. And that table is not warped. It's been sitting on my front. My house it's my granddaddy's house, and if you look around, it's falling down around me. There's stains in the ceiling where the roof is leaked and all that stuff. But that table sit out there for probably 5 or 6 years now, and table's fine. It won't warp. I mean, it's a good industrial. It's heavy. It probably take 3 people to move it with a top on it.
In my shop out in the garage, I have 2 4-foot by 8-foot tables and 2 2-foot by 8-foot tables. And the 2 4-foot by 8-foot tables, I was at an auction and nobody was bidding on these 2 tables, and they're real heavy duty tables. And so I bid $1 on both of them, and I got both of them for $1 each.
Wow, that's a great deal.
That's why I mentioned the shower doors, for the simple reason they're just about exactly the right size. And a lot of people that are renovating their homes nowadays, they're getting away from the glass shower door, the shower enclosures. They're going to the wall-less or the glassless showers, and they just want somebody to just haul that stuff away, or it's going for really dirt cheap.
Yeah, one of the things I think, for if you've got a good solid bench underneath it, I don't see any reason that you couldn't use 1/4 inch glass.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why you couldn't. And just, I think for those that might be watching this, let's just reiterate what the advantages of having a glass top are. One, it's very hard. You can't cut grooves in it that'll cause you to have problems down the line when you try to cut something. You hit a groove and your X-Acto blade follows the groove. But the best thing about it is you can raise up and put the plans underneath the glass.
Yep. And then what you can put the plans underneath the glass, and then you can actually CA glue right on top of the glass, and all you need is one of those razor scrapers, and everything scrapes right off the top.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Exactly where I'm going with it.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it had to be tempered or if you could use regular window glass.
Yeah.
Well,
You probably want to temper just in case you drop one of your tools on top of it that's kind of hard, and you don't want it actually just.
We have
the difference, the tempered glass, if it breaks, it's going to break into little beads. It's not going to shatter and explode and go everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, we had a
It's
guy.
just safety.
We have a where I work at Specialty Water Technologies. We build dialysis systems, kidney dialysis.
Mhm.
Well, one of the guys, we pre-build all the bypass and everything for the system, and then they take all the pieces out to the clinics and install them. But anyway, one of the guys had a piece of glass, the tempered glass, on his workbench with the plans or the section that he built underneath it. Well, somebody set something up on it one day. I mean, they've had it glass for years, and he just set something up on it. Don't know what it was, and he said about 30 seconds later he heard this crack, crack, boom, and it was just like you said, it just shattered. But there was, I don't know if it had a stress fracture in it, and whatever he set down on it just happened to be enough weight to cause it to shatter. But I mean, this guy we have I don't know, 65-pound pumps that we put up on it it's boost pumps to bump up the pressure of the city water.
Yeah.
And everything, and they set them pumps up on it, and nothing. But he just set something small up there on it, and it just happened to hit just right. And there went his safety glass. So now we use plexiglass. But plexiglass bends too. It's too flexible. So
Plexiglass.
it's scratched too.
We got a place just down the road from me that cuts the granite countertops and stuff.
Mm.
And they have
That'd be nice.
They have all that stuff out there in a big bin if it's cracked, a corner cracks or something. So I we sell it. You figure out what you want or whatever, and it was cheap. Well, I went and found one I thought would work. I grabbed it. It's like,
no.
And I'm like, I guess I don't want this to the top of my bench.
Yeah, go right through the buckle of the legs on it, huh?
Well, hell, I'd have to carry it in my house. You know, it's like I could get it. They'd stick it in the back of my truck with a high-low, but I didn't want to build out the back of my truck, so I figured,
you have to bust the door in the side of your house and drive the truck in.
Yeah.
You guys, let me get in for a second here. You guys, hang on a second. Hang on. So we have on the chat box, Gerald Wimmer says, hello, everybody. He says, hi, Charles.
Gerald.
And hi to everybody on Hangouts. The North Wall workbench is the best in New Zealand as it gets the most sun. No clockwise flyers here currently. Then Jeff Riley said to go to Habitat for Humanity and get old shower doors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shower doors.
That's a good idea.
If you can find one that's smooth, all of them I've seen down here is the wavy to keep the.
Oh, okay. So you can't see through. Okay.
Yeah, so you can't see the old lady in there naked,
Oh.
Or somebody's old lady in there naked, It's
you go over to somebody's house for Thanksgiving, check out their bathroom, and they got
hold on.
Carry it out while they're chowing down.
Hold on for a second, though. The only drawback to that is you can't put the plans underneath it. But usually, even with the ones that have a texture on them, the texture is usually only on one side. So you put that side down, you'll have a smooth side on. You'll at least have a smooth side on this surface on the other. So you have to look. You have to look.
Or frosted.
Don't try to use plexiglass for your building service.
Oh no.
All scratched up.
Yeah. We got that at work, and it's all scratched up.
Well, the other thing is that if you got a place that does mirrors, and we used to have one here in town, and they went out of business, but they made custom mirrors. But I guess they're not a big thing anymore. But you could go get, because mirrors are tempered glass too.
Yeah,
it has the the backing on there. If they get a scratch in that backing or whatever, they would sell it cheap.
Well, I don't think you really have to have, tempered glass for your work. I never have,
Just glass will work.
I was going to use a mirror on my workbench, but I figured, 15, 20 minutes of seeing myself, I'd get sick to my stomach.
Yeah. Drawback of mirror.
It cut the hell out of my building time.
You think you get used to it after all these years,
But you don't hardly ever see what you look like. I walk into the bathroom and like, God damn, I know I don't look that old.
I know. I don't feel that old.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shave because,
Next time you walk in the bathroom, you're doing like, I'm okay. Let's look. Geez, what did I do?
I usually go in there and go.
You guys
Hey,
are too many.
What happened to
Oh,
Bill?
I'm here.
Bill.
Bill Cole.
Oh, I don't know.
I think he couldn't get a word in edgewise, so he left.
Hey, you guys, it is tough. Maybe let's try holding your hand when you want to speak or do something. Because even when I want to make a comment about the chat box, I'm waiting and waiting. I know that people are thinking they're changing the subject, and I'm trying to get my comment in.
You can't see this, but I'm holding my hand all the time.
Let's try maybe holding our hands up or something. If you want
You want them up? I thought you just had to hold your hand.
Yeah, hold your hand up if you have something to say, and then I'll go you next, okay?
Yeah.
Because it is tough to get a word in. It is very
Lord.
tough.
Yeah.
And
Steve, you never cease to
that little
amaze me.
hand down there on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You can raise and lower your hand.
All right, John's next.
I had a good thing happen today.
All
I
right.
was going through my computer files. I was doing one thing. And all of a sudden, you remember I told you that I lost my most recent drawing to the Vanguard.
You found it?
I have to redo it and all that. I found it. I found the original.
All right.
Good
I
deal.
I found it. I grabbed it real quick, saved it, and put it over in another file to where I wouldn't lose it.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Hey, has anyone heard anything from Len or?
No. Yeah, it's
Do we
strange.
need to?
In a couple shows.
Yeah, he hasn't. He was saying that him and Naomi work in grocery stores or in a grocery store, and he was pretty upset that people are coming in without masks on and all that kind of stuff. And I just hoping they didn't get sick or anything.
Yeah.
I hope not. That's a weird bug.
Yeah, it's good. 98.2 or 3% survival rate.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
ones that have underlying conditions that have to worry about it.
Yeah, old is an underlying condition.
Yeah.
I got it too.
99.2. That's what it is. It's like it's
You
less
got-
than 1%.
COPD and all that, and diabetes. I'm diabetic, but I'm.
They say it
I'm
isn't so bad as long as you ain't that 1,000 person a day that's dying from it. It ain't that bad.
Yeah.
Well,
You guys, we can't talk much about COVID. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
Parsley has given us an admonition to not talk about that.
Okay.
All right.
Well, anyway.
Well, anyway, I'm glad I found the drawing. Now I can get back to work on it because it was quite a job trying to get back to where I was at.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
okay, I got a question here since I'm sitting here fooling with this.
Go airplanes.
Yeah. The adjustable lead outs.
All right. Let me click on you.
Y'all use these, or do you make the ones like Sparky does with the drilling the holes in the basswood and slotting it and moving the
You got that put together backwards.
Do what?
You got that put together backwards. Oh, you don't have pieces that stick out?
No, this one. I don't know where this one came from, but
Yeah, I would throw it away.
yeah, it came with something I bought on eBay. I can't remember what it was, but
Yeah, because when you use the thimbles, the part that sticks out of the wood goes into that slot so it doesn't rotate.
yeah, I've got one down here.
If nothing else, before you use it, take it apart, get you some plywood or something, and glue some plywood onto the slide bar to act as a guide to keep it from pinching your line up against the side of that and putting a bind in your lines.
I've got one here somewhere.
Geez, he's got more projects started than I do. Congratulations. I didn't think anybody was that crazy but me.
Yeah, here's another one I got. It's got the through thimbles on it.
That works.
Yeah, you got to have that, or otherwise that thing will twist and pinch your lines. And
yeah, but I didn't know if y'all used these or if you did the.
I've done both.
The drilling the holes in the basswood with the slots.
I've done both. My impact is a basswood with the pieces of push. I use a piece of old nylon push rod. Nylon.
Yeah.
Was nylon inside plastic. I use some of those as the guides, and then I've used it with the metal. What do you call them, Steve? I can't think of little thimble things. I've used those as the guides and pull them out and push them, and yeah. But I've done it all every way I can think of, and including the way it's on the Shark 45 diagram where they got that little clamshell thing with teeth in it. Don't do that. That metal will eventually eat your wires up.
Yeah, but if you get rid of the little teeth things, then that wouldn't be a shark.
Well, mine's not a shark anyway. Mine's a humbler. Mine's the original. I use the original names. Since I use the original plans, I use the original name. So I call mine the humbler.
You guys see that guy there in Florida that went in that got that gator that got his puppy?
Yeah, I saw that today.
I just saw the thumbnail. I haven't actually watched it.
That's pretty. He got that thing, opened the jaws up. Said he
was going to rip that gator's head off, wasn't he?
You know what though? He must be a modeler because they asked him, did the gator bite him or anything, and he said, yeah. He said he went in the house and took some super glue and glued his fingers up and went in and got a tetanus shot. So he had to have a bunch of super glue and know how to glue your skin up with it. He had to be a modeler of some kind down there in Florida.
Either that or he had to be an old medic from Vietnam era.
Yeah, did it kill his puppy or just
no? It was a small gator.
Yeah, he had a cigar in his mouth. Boy, he went in and he was underwater, come up with that gator and the dog and everything, come up on shore and grabbed its jaws and that
never lost his cigar.
Yeah, never dropped a cigar.
That's a real man there.
I'm Popeye the Toy.
Good grief. Dadgummit, put my flame out.
Yeah, he's probably had his fingers hit a couple of times with the prop.
Oh boy, I'm telling you. Go ahead, Charles.
So Phil, have you heard that story? I think Lou Woolard, the designer of the Shark 45, Lou
Woolard. Woolard.
No, it's not Lou Woolard.
No, it's not Lou Woolard.
Lou Woolard was the one he did the motors.
Okay, who designed the Shark?
Lou
McFarland.
Lou
McFarland. That's right.
Okay. Now the story I heard is that he named his the Humbler because the Nobler was.
That's what it was. Everybody was doing Noblers. So he did the Humbler. Yeah.
How did he become the Shark then?
I have because when Jetco bought the plans and redid it to fit in the box. No kidding. They changed it, the length of the thing, and made the fuselage sides where you had to put it together like that, But when they made so many changes in it, he changed the name of it to Shark because it was not a Humbler when they made all those changes.
Oh, okay.
He said it wasn't the same airplane, so they changed the name. But Lou, I got to meet him one time years ago. I was walking in Louisville, and I saw this shark in the window of this hobby shop, and it's like 9 o'clock at night. Shop's long since closed. And he comes walking up behind. He said, "You like that?" I said, "Yes, sir. I'd like to. I know I've I know of the man that owns that flew that thing. I'd love to meet him. He said, well, turn around. And it's Lou. Hell, he opened the shop. We went in and looked at his airplane. We had a great time.
Fantastic.
He was a really nice guy. Charlie Reeves knew him well, and he was a really good guy. In fact, nobody seems to know him. Charlie Reeves took second at the Nats with a Humbler. And he did it when I've got pictures of Lou at the Nats in '61 when he won it the first time with the Humbler. And who's standing behind him but Charlie Reeves with a flat top. And it's quite a character. But I told Charlie I love that airplane. It's one of my favorites. And he says, I said, but every time I go to build it, there's so many people who have so many different opinions of what's supposed to be, and I don't know what's supposed to be. Oh, the kit's wrong about this. The kit's wrong about that. I'm so tired of hearing what the kit's, what's all wrong with it. I just took mine, laid it in the corner, and about forgot about it.
Mm.
He says, you coming to, this was at VSC. He says, you going to be in Huntersville? I said, yeah, it's an hour down the road. Of course I'll be in Huntersville. I'll have something for you in Huntersville. He brought me copies of the Lou's original plans.
Wow.
So
nice.
when I built the plane, it's downstairs. It is not painted yet. That thing, I built it 20 years ago. It's not painted yet. But I redid the front end of it to take a Tiger 60. It's if you got to see Jim Lynch's front end, Jim sent me the plans, and I redid the front to look like his. It really swoops down for that Tiger 60 and then up. It's beautiful. Jim is a master craftsman. If Jim builds it, it's a work of art. But anyway, and it flies that way too. But I redid it to be as much like Jim's as I can, but as much like the original. And Jim cheated. He got the original airplane and checked it and made the measurements in it. And the flaps are not the same length. And those tabs on the end are not the same length as the kit. And as everybody tells you they are. So I thought, in the plans, I thought that's what it showed. But I said, my plans are kind of baby blue now. It's hard to see. So he sent me the specs and told me what it was. And he told me how to take the plans to a print shop and have them redo them, get them dark enough I could see. And sure enough, there was words on there I never could read. And I can read them now. They're good and black now. But anyway, the whole plane is just much different than the Shark 45 kit. The fuselage of course, was built like it was warped. He built his fuselage, the tail end of it was warped. And I asked Jim, I didn't want to do that. And I asked Jim, and he says, I said, did you build yours like that? He says, I do not build bananas. And I didn't either. So I built mine straight as well. But I did build the original rudder on the thing with a 1/2 inch rudder like the plans call for the Shark 45. And Jim called me and he says, mine's got a 1/4 inch rudder on it. And the reason is the Humbler had a 1/4 inch rudder. So I have cut all that off and I've redone the back and now it's got a 1/4 inch rudder on it. But it's going to be a pretty airplane. I'm going to hopefully have it out for next year. I wanted to do it this year, and with everything we've been going through, I didn't do any painting the last 4 years, so it's maybe next year we'll have it.
I have a Jetco kit of the Shark 45, but I would love to have the Humbler.
I'll see about making a set of plans and getting them to you.
That'd be
it's
awesome.
Just on one sheet. This sheet is about so big. Well, you can't see this. It's about 18 inches by about 60, 70 inches, something like that. It's all on one sheet, and the fuselage is right in the middle of the wing. The only thing I'll tell you is don't build the wing the way the original one was built. It was built with a yardstick for the landing gear supports, and it goes all the way across. That's a lot of weight you just don't need to carry. Even Lou said if I was going to do it again, I'd do that completely different. And he was right. But I built mine like the original.
Tom will cut you a kit.
Hey, thanks, Tom.
John's got his
volunteered here, Tom.
Your arm's gonna get tired.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. I had the big picture of Phil, and I couldn't see you. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Go ahead, John.
I just wanted to ask Phil if when he got around to making any copies of that plan, if he could send one out to me. I'd like to put that on CAD. Work with Mr. McFarland. Is he still around?
No,
No, he died.
2
He
years
died.
ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that way, set it up with a 3-plan sheet, you know, with fuselage, and then set for the wings, and then the building, the pattern sheet. Anyway, and make that available. Probably turn that.
I will get you a set. I'll make some sets up.
Okay. Do you have my address?
No, but let me get them printed, then I'll get the addresses.
All right. Do that.
Because I'll lose it.
Go ahead,
Go
Todd.
ahead.
I have a question about where the
Steve is next.
should go.
Where what?
This is White Creek, so I'm not going to do adjustable lead outs. So, is there a rule of thumb or a good place?
About a thumb's width. About a thumb's width behind the center of gravity at the mean aerodynamic chord. So basically, it's a straight wing. So the chord is where the CG shows on the plan, or wherever you have it. You want it about a thumb's width, about 3/4 to an inch after that point is a very good place.
So should the two lines be close together, further apart, or what's the best?
Well,
Depends on the belt crank, I guess.
for the modern thinking today is that they should be 3/4 to 1 inch apart where they exit the wing, because if you do it like the old way where you had it 3 inches apart because you had a 3-inch belt crank, you get too much yawing going on because of,
Okay.
I'll tell you a simple rule. Wherever it exits the wingtip, just bring this one in and this one in until they're 3/4 of an inch apart. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that properly, but they'll show it like 3 inches apart. Bring this one in the same amount you bring this one.
Oh, I see it.
And they end up 3/4 of an inch apart. That's the way I did my ringmaster, and everybody says, "How did you get those? How did you get it to do that? How does it fly like that?" Looper told me how to do it, and I did it, and it worked.
It's basically the same thing that I was saying.
It is.
Yeah.
Now I heard to stick them on top of each other.
Well, what about the other?
With them right on top of each other, then you got the same yaw and everything with up and down when you hang it.
But you can get a wing rock in there if you don't get the up and the down in the right place. You can wind up with a wing thing like that.
I was going to say,
if Bart was
John
here,
wants to talk, because every time I see him like this, I think Santa Claus is waving at me, and it's not like he wants to talk. I'm like,
if Bart Kopinski was here, he used over/under lead outs on both the Electras that he flew and on his
Tempest.
And he once told me it's important. I think he said it's important that the upline be on top. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get the downline on top, you're gonna have problems. So most of us would prefer just 3/4 of an inch apart. You're not talking about that much yaw effect now. It's very close to nothing if you've got the center between the two in the right place.
You guys have to take a comment here from the chat box. Jeff Riley says, "Small gator, ha ha ha." That's like saying it's a baby shark.
He still got teeth.
That gator looked to be about 4 foot long.
That's no baby.
It's like when I was there in Florida, me and my cousins were swimming in the Swanee River, and my uncle's.
You're crazy. You know that?
Yeah.
So we're in there swimming and stuff, and all of a sudden, I see these damn eyes swimming in the water, and I'm like, "Is that an alligator?" And they said, "Yeah." So I got up out of the water and stuff, and my uncle said to me, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "There's an alligator in there." He said, "Oh, that's a baby." He goes, "It's more afraid of you than you are of it." And I said, "Bullshit," because I got out of the water and it didn't. So I know
Why is it
it's
coming?
afraid of me.
If it's so scared, why is it coming this way?
Yeah.
You know what the meanest animal in the world is? It's
A
an
chihuahua.
animal. It's an animal called a crocagator. A crocagator. And you know what a crocagator looks like? I mean, this is a mean animal. It's got the head of an alligator on one end and the head of a crocodile on the other end.
Oh God.
Now, the question you might ask is, how does this animal take a dump?
Yeah.
Well, he don't, and that's what makes him so mean.
And just to highlight that photograph that I put up there, that's out my back. That's a shot I took from outside of my back patio.
No way. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
See, that's why I live in North Carolina.
You kill that thing? You could get $600-700 out of it, out of the skin and stuff.
2 or 3 good sets of boots.
Yeah.
Wow, that was in your backyard?
Yes, that's just out that the back of our house faces a golf course, and that's just across that is just across no, let me do this again. That's just across the water from that's just across this water from the house. So we have a little stretch of grass right behind the right behind the home, and we have a couple of alligators that like to live in that.
I didn't know alligators played golf.
And look at the smile on that
I know
critter.
he's smiling.
Man, he's got a smile.
And this one, which is about a 6, but it's about a 6-footer, it would come up on the grass and just come out in the cold, in the cooler days in the winter, and just come out in the sun over there. And the funniest thing is, before we get back to talking about airplanes, is that the community called in alligator wrestlers because they were like the residents were worried about that the alligators would run off with their little dogs, and so they called out these alligator wranglers or whatever. And when my wife found out that they were out there trying to catch these alligators and pull them out of the pond, she would go out there and she would scare the alligators away from from the grass if they were out there sunning, so they would run away from the people that were trying to catch them.
So she was like Betty White on Lake Placid after cows.
And she says, "Hey, you don't take out alligators. They were here before you were. They're going to be here after you're gone. So leave them alone."
You know the problem they have in Tucson, and they tell you this when I was at the
look who joined
VSA.
us.
There's a land.
We had our little dogs with us, and they said keep those dogs where you can see them because we got coyotes around here, and they'll and sure enough, the first night I'm out there, they went on a hunting spree right in just next to Bart's backyard there. And you could tell when they caught what they were looking for. Boy, all hell broke loose.
The problem in Florida is people feed them, and that is a big no-no. You do not feed them or throw any food at them because then they get aggressive.
Yeah, but it's easier if you feed them and they come up to you. It's easier to kill them when you're hunting them.
Hey, Len, we were just asking where you been.
What happened to you? We haven't seen you in a while.
I've been wrapping up a renovation.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
We just hope that you weren't sick or anything.
No, just sick of renovating.
But this is your shop you're renovating, right?
Yeah, not the shop, the rec room.
Okay.
I come up
So
with
I
an
finally
easy cure for
finished.
that, Lynn. I came up
Oh,
with an
what's
easy
that?
cure for that. I hired a contractor.
Yeah, that'll do it too.
What you got there, Peter?
Okay, there you go. You can see the 2 holes. When we're talking about lead outs,
Yeah.
you may not be using the adjustable lead. You might not be using adjustable lead outs in your case, but when with the adjustable lead out pack, you'll see it comes with the spacing for the lead out holes. You can probably see them at least a little bit there on either side of the main hole in the middle. And that's 3/4 of an inch apart.
Yep.
That's where you ultimately want to end up being.
Okay.
In the vectors, in mine anyway, it has double ones in there that you can adjust.
Yeah. Yeah, separate.
Yeah, they're separate, so you can make it 1 inch, or you can actually get it so close you can get your damn wires to the.
That was from a Brodak adjustable lead out pack. Okay, and I see Charles has got his hand up.
So there's a comment on the chat box by Jeff Riley. He says, selling alligator is like making a reservation for the Gray Bar Inn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get it. Maybe I'm.
They don't have any left in California, you know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, that's a. I'm jerking you around on that. They never did have any, at least not in modern times.
What the hell is the Gray Bar Inn? I've never heard of it.
That's
I
a
don't know what that
prison.
is either.
That's a prison.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a prison. Okay. Okay.
Now down in the southern hemisphere, I don't think it's in New Zealand, but I know in parts of Australia they got these crocodiles, the sea crocodiles, 30.
Oh, saltwater crocs. Yeah.
See what?
Saltwater
crocs.
Yeah, saltwater crocs. I think they may have them in the Caribbean also, but I've heard that they're up to 30 feet long.
Yeah. Good grief.
And then that's the same alligator, and he does not seem to care whether the birds are there or not.
Oh, I thought you were feeding them.
Good grief.
Guys, I'm out of here. It's late. I get up and go to work in the morning. So
work.
Take care of yourself. That's a 4-letter word.
At work.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm working on it. So
okay.
It's getting closer and closer. So I got about 10 more years though.
Well, once you get to there, you won't understand how you had enough time to do anything when you were.
When you're working.
One good thing is I'm about 5 years older than my wife. So when I retire, I'll have 5 years by myself. While she's still at work.
No, you won't.
No, you won't. I got 2 things for you. Honey-do lists.
Oh yeah.
And it just doesn't work that way. I retired before my wife did, and I was bored to death. I took a part-time job, went back to work. I didn't know what to do with myself.
What happens is when you retire, God takes away 10 hours a day.
That's about the truth.
That's why time goes so fast. You're like,
you can't imagine how you get everything done when you're working.
That's exactly right.
That 10 hours a day, and time just goes fast.
Well, everybody tells you you're retired, so you got time to do this. I don't have time, but you got time since you're retired.
Baloney.
Yeah. When do you have time to do your own? When do I have time to do my own stuff, though?
Yeah.
Because it's like just like Steve said, it feels like God takes away about 10 hours a day. And now you're older. You're old enough that you need a nap in the middle of the afternoon. So,
have to fight the urge.
I'm still good at that, though. I'm still good at taking a nap. There's a lot of shit I ain't good at anymore, but I'm still good at that.
You take care of yourself. We'll see you Friday night.
Yep. See you.
All right. See y'all later.
Take care.
Okay.
Takes me all day to go through my email, you know.
Golly.
Yeah. We were already like Len off. I mean, we were just like wondering. Oh, geez, they shut down Toronto. Maybe he's.
No.
We're going to give a call to the Mounties and see if they had you, chasing up to the Northwest Territories or something.
See, did they finally find out about that? About that secret you had.
You don't show up. Mike doesn't show up, and it's like, okay, what happened to everybody?
Trey and Mike, Lynn. I mean,
Yeah, they've been saying on the news if we're careful and we make it through this holiday season, that next year we'll be able to get together with all of our family and friends. But I need to find out where to get some friends.
And it's hard to make friends when you're locked in the house.
Because my family don't have nothing to do with me, so I got to find friends someplace then.
You mean nobody likes you either?
No.
I thought I was the only one that nobody liked.
We're your friends, Steve.
Hey,
Yeah.
compared to me, everybody loves you, Len.
I don't believe that. Yeah, I don't know about that either.
I don't know about that. Steve, you may think you're an ornery old fart, but you're our ornery old fart.
There we go. I like that.
Yeah, that's what.
Lordy mercy.
That's what the guys at work said. I talked to one of my old apprentices last week, and he goes, "Well, I'm glad to see you're just as ornery as ever."
Yeah.
I'm
in a real good mood. You've never seen me when I was ornery.
Yeah. Well, I saw the supervisor that I used to work. She took over just after I left. I've never actually worked under her, but I saw her Saturday at the field, and she says, "Did you build that?" I said, "Well, yes, ma'am." She said, "So that's what you were talking about. Since you never worked, I didn't know." She said, "No, I never worked with y'all, but I was at City Hall. I always heard about you going to these contests, and Jeff used to keep up with how you'd done and tell me about it, because my husband over here is a modeler. He flies RC. But anyway, so I was talking to her and just getting ready to leave, and we had a good conversation. And she says, "How about you come back to work?" I said, "We were having such a good talk."
So why would I want to do that?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I said, under the current leadership and management, no, ma'am, no way, no how.
No way.
Shoot, I'm enjoying sleeping late. I sleep till 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. We had to be at work at 7. No.
I got to get me a dog that sleeps in.
Doesn't work, Steve.
It doesn't.
I've never seen one that does.
6:30 every morning comes and wakes me up, wants to go outside. And I'm like, there ain't nothing to do out there. It's dark. But
sure there is. Have a good pee. You can go out and do one with them.
Yeah, then she goes back to sleep, and then I'm up.
That's right. Damn. That's the dog's life, Get the people up so I can sleep. Their turn to take care of shit.
Get the people up so they go fix me something to eat.
My little dog, that's all he does is sleep. I mean, I imagine on a 24-hour day, he's probably awake maybe an hour.
I thought my grandpuppy slept a lot. That's a lot of sleeping.
What do you want, Charles?
Go ahead.
Charles, what's up?
Hey, Gary, we missed you. I'm glad that I made it back in. I know that you've been taking care of some things, so I'm glad you're here.
No problem.
Even if we don't like you, we're glad you're here.
Lynn, you know why Charles? Lynn, you know why Charles was so happy to see you?
No, I don't. Why? Because we both. Probably because we both build lumber wagons.
When we're making fun of you, we're not making fun of California.
That was for Gary.
Yeah, he's liable to kick me off. No, we're just glad.
No, he wouldn't do that.
I tell you what, I've been reading this Northeast Newsline. I can't remember anything tonight, but anyway, the whatever it is online where Paul Walker and a bunch of the guys put in these articles. Man, they got some stuff in there that is out there.
Yeah,
they're taking they're taking it to whole new levels, man. I'm telling you, it ain't no wonder the California guys are ahead of us. Not only did 40 of them show up at one contest and compare notes, apparently.
What are they doing different?
Well, they just got so many ideas. Now they're experimenting. Walker's experimenting with smaller props, but to make it work, you got to have a lighter weight airplane. In dead air, go to a smaller prop, more RPM. Makes perfect sense.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out too.
Lumber wagons don't use smaller props.
Not a bit.
But hey, right now, when I've got most of those lumber wagons, I spent years wanting to fly the big airplanes. Now, just about the time I get 4 of them built and 3 more about built, my shoulder's going crazy, so I can't fly the big stuff. I can't fly the big stuff anymore. That's. I went out there Saturday, and my first flight when I went to go overhead and the wing over, I got to the top of it. And oh my God!
Yeah, Lynn's hoping his new airplane's light enough he can get down to a 16-inch prop.
16-inch. I was flying a 46 Saturday, and that hurt. That really hurt.
Nothing quite like a 16.5 or 16.6 rev up.
Yeah.
On a Rojet 90.
God, I've never flown anything that big. The biggest thing I've ever flown was 13 inches.
Okay.
Well, Paul Walker did a big prop thing. Remember, it was in one of the magazines where he flew his airplane on like a 9.5.
Yeah, 9.4.
Oh, 9.4. Okay.
Yeah, that's the article I'm referring to. I figured somebody was going to say, "Oh, that who dropped out."
Gary Sinclair.
Oh, Gary.
Shucks. I figured somebody would say, "Well, that was several years ago." Well, I just found out about it, so I'm just reading it. But they have all kinds of stuff on there. It's supposed to be a real good article on there by Brett Buck, but you got to get on Aeromaniacs part of it to get to it, and I haven't found it yet. But I'm gonna find it.
Well, Dennis had a mission, did a bunch of stuff on
there he's back.
Yeah, he's back. On motors and smaller props and stuff. And he was saying that one airplane didn't fly that great or whatever, and he put a small prop on it, and it flies great now.
But really, wow, isn't it the weight of the airplane? Because technically, you should be able to trim as big of an airplane and as big of an engine that you have out on the lines. You should be able to trim it between the prop, lead out adjustment, and other trim variables to pull as light or as heavy as you want it to pull.
Well, that's true. That's true.
But let me jump in here, Phil.
Go ahead.
That's true. But when you take like Gordon's twin, the latest twin, called the Gemini, the guy up in Alberta club there, kind of head. I can't remember his name now. So anyway, he has it now. Who?
Bruce.
Who was that?
Bruce Perry.
Yeah, Bruce. And that thing looks like you go over on a wing over. It looks like a surfboard going over. It's that big. It's hard with a pair of 35S's.
Wow.
That's the problem with. That's why twins, all of a sudden, the more successful ones have gone down to smaller sized engines because it isn't the power of the engines, it's the prop density. Anyway, that's a whole other story. You can trim it, but weight you still have centripetal force, and you're going to get that from the high end of trim. You're going to get that from the plane going around at whatever speed. And you go faster, you get more. We all call it centrifugal, but I've been told it's centripetal. But anyway, you get that. You have to trim that. To trim that out, you have to play with yawing it in or things like that. The best solution to the problem is to go down to about 600 square inches, build it light, and set your rudder straight fore and aft, and don't use any out thrust. Just like Ted Vanch said, just enough out thrust to make sure you don't have any in thrust.
Well, the new airplane I'm designing, the fuselage is just a little bit thicker than the wing. And I don't know why everybody's got these big boards sticking. They got a fuselage that got the tail of it's that big. Well, stick your hand out the window and go like this and go like that and see what happens. I mean,
right.
The bigger fuselage comes across the top better.
You do your maneuvers better.
Presents better for the judges. It presents better.
Well, it's not got nothing to do with that. It actually sticks out better. It stays out there better because it acts like a wing.
As a wing.
Yeah. A Teosaki is a great airplane, but the one place a Teosaki will bite you is overhead. your intersection overhead and your wing overs, that's the worst place for a Teosaki, is because that sucker has no fuselage. It's only that thick, and it'll come in on you quick. You just have to be ready to get down on your knees and finish the maneuver.
But that's why with the electric, you can adjust that to power up.
Yeah,
and let it fly on the prop.
I want to build a Teosaki electric. I have one started downstairs. I was going to build it for a friend of mine, and he's been such a stinker the last year that I just said, okay, rather than working on one for him, I'm going to build it myself and build it electric.
Yeah, but a 4.2 on a pipe should be like hauling up at the top. I mean, you should be at your 2.
Well, you still need side area. You still need side area.
Let me tell you what it was like flying a Nobler in 1958. That's when we ran 6+ second laps. We were in such a 4-stroke. Yeah, we were in such a 4-stroke that the first time I did it, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to take off. And the plane got up in the air. I was being mentored at that time by a very good stunt pilot, and he set my engine RPM up for me. And you'd go into the wing over, you'd come up, and you were going so slow that if that hadn't kicked into 4-stroke, it would not have climbed. It would have just right back in. But it would go up. But at about 60 degrees up there, you started losing line tension, and as it free flighted across the top of the circle.
6 second laps. I don't doubt it.
And then, but you got it back when you can't. But the thing is, all of your maneuvers were very slow, and it was very easy. It was like writing with a pencil.
Were you at BSC the year I did the 6 second loops? Mary Gephardt and the guy from the West Coast at So Good Fitzgerald were the 2 judges at all time on my circle. And they both came over to me after the circle, after the flight, and they said, it took off great. The first few maneuvers were great. He said, I thought you were on a killer flight. And then the darn thing went rich, and it went really rich. But he says, I've never seen a 6 second loop, but that thing just, and then just took forever to climb. Because you got old time, you got to do 3 of the darn things.
Yeah. I think I was there.
So it just, I mean, even if you lose, I built the box, I traveled all the way across the country, all that. And once you blow one flight at VSC, you might as well pack it up and get out of everybody else's way. So that's what I did. But, I mean, that thing, when both the judges come over to you and say, I hate that happened because you were on a heck of a flight.
Yeah.
But 6 second loops on those outside loops, I was, my gosh.
Wow.
And it went rich. It really went rich. And of course, I ran out of fuel before I ever thought about changing the pattern. But it was fun.
Running that Nobler, I had a Redhead McCoy in it, and running that Nobler, it was so smooth and deliberate going around. Squares were, and the Nobler and the 424 brake were made for each other.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
The planes that we have today are made to be flown a little faster, I think.
Yeah.
And they put that. That's why they have to have the big thick wing on it to help slow them down in the down lines.
Yeah. But the one thing that's really nice about the new ones, you put these electric motors in and get the same thing every time.
Yeah, but look at what Tran's doing here. Tran's showing us with his Revolution that you don't need, when you got infinite motor control like that, you don't need a thick airfoil.
Yeah. I know. That's why I want one.
Yeah. And I think he's showing us the right way to look at it, or at least a good alternative way to look at it.
Well, a lot of people are sure looking at it.
Yeah, because what do you got? 16% airfoil on there or less? Yeah.
16 on a root, 14 on a tip.
Wow. And the plane
also got like 13 or 12 and a half on a tip.
And it just penetrates.
But he still can't fly 6 second laps.
No,
he's flying about 5. What was it? I timed
5.4.
5.4 was about right. 5.3,
5.4. I can do 5.5 easy, you know. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to just see John DeTavio at the Nats flying his 5.8 to 6 second laps in that Max.
What was that?
With a Rojet 61 in it or whatever. It was like,
the last
and I
guy
swear
that
to God, it was going to fall out of the sky.
Well,
and he'd fly the whole pattern, but I then go over wing over and just about stop on top and just come down.
Al Raby used to fly like that. When he flew that Sea Fury. That thing had a 6-inch front end on it.
Mm-hmm.
It just flew so slow. I thought, my word.
Yeah, when you fly that slow, you have plenty of time to do whatever the hell you want to do. It's a wonderful,
including reading a book.
He was tough to beat in his day. He was a tough competitor.
I only flew like that very slow one time, and I was at the Nats back in 2000 something, and I had a Oriental with a 40 FP on it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I launched, you know, everybody the rain was coming in, everybody kind of tucked their planes and everything and shoved in a pavilion. I said, the heck with it. I'm just going to fly, have fun of it. Have fun, right? So I flew in the rain. But the plane, the motor for some reason got very, very rich on a takeoff. And now I'm flying 6 second lap time. So I'm just trying it to see what it can do, right? So it's just very gentle on the controls. You just allow the plane to climb over, went on the other side. It just was so easy to fly a pattern.
Yeah.
But I never had that RC kind of, very loose on the lines kind of thing.
The free flying across top. First time it happens to you, Trey, you kind of don't know. You think you got to change your shorts.
Yeah, it makes your butt pucker.
Because you go along there and you don't know if you're going to get it back or if it's going to come in and down.
No, he never went loose on me.
No.
Yeah, I know, but I'd say when it does do that to you, the first time it happens to you, just about you crap your pants.
Hey, Brian, I got a question for you. It was Sweet Composites.
Mm-hmm.
How do you order your stuff? You got to call them?
Figure it out. I don't know. I haven't ordered from them in a long time. You might have to call them and talk to them on whatever you have to do. I don't know.
Oh, okay, because there's no place to buy it now or a card or anything like that on this site.
I don't know if they have an online shopping.
Yeah, I guess they're a wholesaler.
Mm-hmm. I have no clue, Steve. I didn't
know if you were somebody that they had it, but you bought it through a different company or whatever.
No, I bought it through them because it was the best place to get it from. The least expensive. That's what was it.
Yeah, I was telling the guys I ordered some more of this,
and
I can't believe that something that only weighs 3 grams, they charge you 12 pounds.
What did you buy there? What the heck is that?
It's that carbon fiber from that.
I told you to get the 100 grams per square meter and get the 1 meter by 1 meter.
That was on the Kevlar.
Huh?
For the Kevlar?
No, for the carbon. They have the 1 meter wide sheets. That's like $15 a meter.
Yeah, 12 pounds is about $15.
Mm-hmm. But that was a 1 meter wide, wasn't it?
I don't know. This is that stuff that come in that tube. I don't know.
Oh, show me again. Is that the fabric or it's unidirect?
Yeah, that's.
I said unidirectional, man.
Yeah.
Those are unidirectional for the spars, not this.
Yeah.
This is cloth.
That's right. Yeah.
This they had a place where I could put it in the cart and buy it. But I said that it only weighs like 3 grams, but they charged me 12 pounds. Well, they should only be charging me they should only be charging me grams.
Oh, okay. You lost me there.
He's talking about the currency, Ryan.
I understand that, but it's the wrong material. What I said was something different. It's
Yeah, for
1
the
meter
hinges.
wide by 1 meter long,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
for
the
the
same
hinges.
price.
This is for the spars and stuff.
No,
But you
that's
gotta have all of it.
directional.
If it's fabric, it's not for the spars. For the spars, it's unidirectional.
Well, yeah.
I don't know what you got there. Is it a
CF
fabric? Looks like a cloth.
PL 90.
What? Is it a fabric, Steve?
It looks like it is.
Yeah, I saw the bubbles like from typical fabric.
He's taking it out. Look out.
Yep, that's the fabric. That
Get closer.
Yep. Then yeah, that's not unidirectional.
Dude, that's a fabric. It's not unidirectional. What the heck did you buy there?
I don't know, something you stuck in the
No,
reverse.
I did not stock that in there.
You can use that to reinforce the center of the wing or other.
Oh, that would be great. I think it's 90-gram material, but it's super nice for you can put it inside the fuselage in the nose area and stuff like that. So it's not a loss, right?
Oh.
But oh geez, let me give it to you again.
Remember, this is Steve you're dealing with.
I'll tell you what, if you didn't put it in the thing, I would have never known what it was.
Come on.
Okay. I'm looking at it right now, so give me a second.
Well, I just see the video, Tom, that you referenced. Here's the link to the video of my scratch-built flight streak. Okay, I'll write that down.
Yeah, I posted that on in case anybody wanted to see that.
Is it on floats?
No.
No. I thought you put it on floats and flew it off the snow.
Has anybody ever done that? Have any of you ever tried that? I did that one year. I built a plane. I think it was a little toot when I was a kid, and put it on skids. And that thing must have sat around here about 6 years before I ever got a chance to do it because we didn't get any snow.
I don't have that problem.
No, you
I don't have that problem.
We'll let you come up here on vacation. You can fly a couple of gallons of fuel through that thing.
God, I'm telling you. Well, anyway, took the thing.
There you go,
out the
Steve. I put it in there.
Took the thing out to the backyard and flew it. Waxed the skids up real good. Took it out in the backyard and flew it. And of course, it didn't. It's a little toot. It didn't fly worth a toot, but it did land, and we got pictures of it landing on the snow and hitting skid. It was doing real well. And a little dog ran out there and got out and ran out to me. And where she stepped in the snow, that thing hit that hole and just flipped right over. Dadgummit. I had it going so well till then. Oh well. Anyway.
Oh
yeah.
We had a good time.
Yeah, guys, I want to do today a tutorial on how to shape things to get them to look symmetric, right? But it's gonna take kind of too long, so I'm kind of changing gears here. So I'm thinking about making something based on I'm just gonna do a tutorial on paper per se. So if you guys want me to do that, I can take over and do that.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
I was. Did you get my text? I sent you a text earlier today. Did you get that, Tryon?
Yeah, I got it, but it was kind of, I had some other stuff too.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
He blew you off, Charles.
So this is your block that you want to do for the back. You want to mold it for the back of your whatever twister for your SV11, and you have a molded block over there. And so what I usually do with this, I keep one section of it that I'm not really gonna mess with it. So actually in this area over here, I leave that flat. I'm just gonna be straight up and down. So all I'm I'm shaping. I'm only shaping here. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say let's say you want to have whatever shape. Let's say a shape like this. say I want to end up with a shape like this. What I usually do is that I'm going to use these two back like a focal points, right? And create like a ruled surface to carve this out and make it equal. So in order to make it equal, this is what I'm doing usually. I'm kind of looking at it like this. So if you can imagine this, I'm just going to do. So do you see what I'm doing? I'm just working progressively towards the shape, but I'm using flat surfaces, right?
Yeah, you're using flats to start with, yes.
Exactly. So what I'm doing, I'm drawing these things here, and I'm gonna draw it on the other side. Do you see that? And now I have this triangular shape here, then I'm gonna remove on both sides. And as long as you measure correctly from here to here, from here to the bottom, and you get a nice,
do the same,
something nice. But all right, so after that, what I do it again. After I remove this shape, then I'm doing it again, say over here in the top corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna take that piece,
and then I'm taking that piece away. So I'm taking that piece away.
And do the same on the other side. Yeah.
So you can see this piece away. So then I can take it away again here, right?
Right.
I can do another one. So what you do, you end up with this. So do you notice this starts flat and then goes on this triangular shape, and then goes on this triangular shape, and then goes on this triangular shape. So you kind of mimic the shape, but everything is focused on this point here, right? Like a focal point. As long as you measure, everything is going to be, both sides are going to be identical, symmetric, right? Okay. And then the last thing that you want to do, you just take a sanding paper and you just blend it in.
That's awesome.
Right? This can be applied for anything. For a wheel pants, you can apply it for wing tips. The same theory applies, right? It's nothing changed, right? And this is going to give you always symmetric stuff, especially if you have wing tips on both sides, from left to right and so on and so forth. You can still apply the same, the same technique. Can be a nose block, can be anything. For a nose block, you might want to have to do something like this from forth to back, right? And then you do an additional one, maybe draw another line on it, and work from there to the front where it kind of tapers in around the nose towards the nose cone.
That's very good, Tran.
So this is kind of this is what I do. So when I mold, after that, I mold from here to somewhere in this area. I don't go to the bottom, but I go past this, but not to the bottom.
Past the joining point,
Yeah, somewhere in there. And what I do after that, I take a piece of block like this. Give me a second. Okay. I take a piece of block, right? And you put you glue your razor blade on top. Yeah, and I'm number 11, and you just walk it around. Now, now you can use this for almost any plane, right? Because most of our planes, the typical SVs, Nobblers, whatever, they're almost all the same width on a fuselage, right? And they all kind of taper the same way towards the back. So you can take this after you mold it, and you can squeeze it in a little bit, open it up a little bit. Now, if you have a different shape from the back to the front, right, where back is shorter. So let's say, look how much of a flat surface you have to create. So you can basically have a block that goes like this, right, on this direction, on this angle, right, and it will still be nice, sitting nicely on the top of your fuselage, or you can go here. So all depends on what's the dimension in the front from here to here, and what's the dimension on the back from here to the bottom. So you can just lift this end up, right?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And by lifting it up, then it means you're cutting like this a little bit, right?
They change the angle.
you change the angle a little bit. So
Yeah,
depending
exactly.
on depending on what you're having, you can play with this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you're not locked
Cool.
into one thing. So this is a quick and dirty technique on how to shape any block to about any kind of shape, but you just make some sort of a plan, follow it, and do the same thing to the left and to the right if you do wingtips.
That's
Or if
cool.
you do wheel pants or whatever. Work progressive. I mean you can always carve it off like that and you just touch it with your hands, but you never know what you got in there for sure.
I like the idea of making blocks like that and then molding shells over it as opposed to carving a great big block. I'm tired of carving big blocks. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done with
You
that.
can't get them anymore.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have some, but some of them are a little heavier, and then I have to clean them out so much that it just takes forever.
Yeah. Are we gonna meet this Friday by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if we meet this Friday, I'm gonna finish shaping all the blocks that I have on hand, and on Friday I'm gonna do an actual molding.
All right.
Oh, awesome!
Cool.
I'd love to see that.
I'm looking at that drawing. Now you said to focus on the back, and you go back to the back, right? So at the end, that back would still be rectangular, right? Just the front would have the
exactly. Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay. And then, so how would you use that? I mean, only the front has the contour. Is that right? And in the back,
but think about the back here. It's about 1/8 of an inch wide.
1/8 to 1/4 wide, and your rudder sits on it.
Yeah.
That's your rudder post.
Yeah.
Okay, so the dimension, the width in the front, let's say, is what, 2 inches, and you're saying the back is like an 1/8 inch?
1/8 of an inch or a 1/4 inch, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Think of the back. Think of the back of the canopy of a Nobler, because that's just something everybody knows. The back of the canopy for the Nobler is what he's showing as the front there, and in the back of that block is where your rudder post sits.
Okay.
That's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
All right, I'm with you.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But the width, the x-axis on that back line is not as wide as the x-axis on the front line. It can't be.
Right.
Right. Because at the back, it's just a straight up and down, like because your rudder has to attach or your
No. What I mean is, okay, in this drawing, you have the front at the top, the front horizontal line, and towards the front of your carving can't be the same width as the line that's at the back.
That's what we said.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The front is wide. This is where the canopy is, and this is the back side. And here you have about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch or so. So it doesn't make any sense to dig into it because it's hard to mold anyways. And then this is a normal way. Now, as you can see, if you can take a piece of paper, now you can see the paper would very easily form around the whole surface because it's kind of a straight lines everywhere. And this is very super easy.
Nice straight seat to put your rudder on.
Yeah,
that's ideal.
Yeah. And at the back is
ideal.
And even if it's not the case, you can still just put the sanding paper on top of the block after you mold it and put a little flat over there for your rudder, whatever.
Exactly.
Is this balsa wood, Tryon? Is this a balsa block or what?
Whatever you want to make it out
Whatever
of.
you
This
want.
could be a hard foam as well.
I do it out of foam
What are
and
you
then put
using?
it on a piece of pine.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
You could do it out of pine if you wanted. If you were using
Make the
it for a
base out
floor
of
block, yeah.
Make the base out of pine wood, and this can be a block of foam, and you don't
That's the way
even
I do
need to have a template here on the back of the foam.
And I got some balsa wood blocks that are harder than pine.
I do too. I think you can make a
Yeah,
little
we all
slugger out
do.
of some of them I've got.
Really doesn't matter what you make it out of.
That's a good idea, Tryon.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Even that fine MDF that you can find for the furniture from the furniture joints, Home Depot and stuff like that. There's a particle board, but it's the fine MDF. It's not the one that's pretty long and stringy and stuff like that. It's like
not straight. Yeah, I know.
made out of the powder kind of thing, very powdery.
That's what
right?
it is. Sawdust.
Yeah, sawdust. Yeah,
Yeah, sawdust
That-
board. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really what it is.
yeah, that's very easy to sand through it and cut through it and carve and whatever. You can definitely use something like that without spending your balsa blocks and a whole lot of time to make something out of balsa blocks.
Just remember, it's hell on saw blades because it's so full of glue.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's all
Oh, yeah,
48% of it is.
But you only
Yeah.
draw it and use a file, a RASP file.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something like
I
that.
know. Exactly. But
Yeah.
for carving, I get it. It's great.
Yeah, but what I want to present is the idea and how to shape so to get them to the point that they are equal and even and all that stuff. So yeah.
Cool.
And I also went the Saturday. My son had some of his friends at my place, so he had 6 boys in the house.
Oh, wow.
And so they got their baseball bats and stuff like that. We had a park in the back of the house, and we went over there to. They went over there to play baseball, and I saw my planes, and I was like, "Oh, they're so cool!" And I said, "Can we fly it?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, we can get it. I can get it with me." And they all go like, "Yeah!"
Yeah, I bet.
It was
Do you got
funny.
some kids flying with you?
So I it's a trainer that was donated to my son, right? So
Oh, great.
so
Excuse me.
I had my glow igniter charged and all the stuff, and I grabbed the plane and grabbed my bag of stuff, and we went over there flying. And so I put a flight, and then they were coming in and they were just grabbing on a handle and try to fly and stuff like that. Well, obviously,
awesome.
nobody really soloed over there, but I think I lost count after the 3 or 4 of them. How many went over there? Because they were either coming multiple times, the same guys, or someone else. But we flew a little bit, and it was all fun. It was great.
Fantastic. That's great. Get these kids flying.
So that's all I have for you guys for
All
today.
right, thank you very much, Trans. Very good.
Did well, Tron.
That's awesome.
Hey,
Fine.
what does Peter? What do you want to show us, Peter? I'm gonna make you big now.
No. What I'm doing is I'm just basically doing what he was describing, turning around. Okay, trying to highlight what he was doing. So you have this. What he's saying? He has this block. It's a little bit narrower in the back, in the front.
It's a lot narrower back.
And then of course he's got his. He does this curve for the mold, as you can see, he was showing in his diagram. And I was just trying to figure out, in 3D, what we can do is we can subdivide this and see exactly how it works out. So I can turn around and I can take this.
Yeah, but it ain't working on the tail though, because that round circle goes all the way to the bottom.
Yes,
And the bottom of that circle has to come to the top.
This is just a rough approximation. I can do it more accurately, but this is just a quick and dirty. So I can turn around and I can boolean, I can turn around and I can subtract from there. And let's see what happens here. And my 3D program, it does not like that.
No, that ain't right.
Yeah, that's not what I really was going for.
No.
No. I know exactly what you're going for, because you're turning around. You're taking a square piece, and
the tail. You have to go from the round circle works in the front, but you got to go to a point on the top corner in the back.
Well, the reason it's not working out in my 3D program is the circle is smaller than the square. The square has got to be larger.
No, that don't work that at all.
Well, the back end, the small end has to be a rectangle, and the
no, absolutely it is. You can see where I'm going with it.
you're showing a smaller circle at the back, and your wireframe.
You would have to turn, ultimately, if you want it to be even from the front to the back. Let me just do this instead of like on the top. You have the ultimate piece that you have, your square, has got to be narrower in the back than in the front.
Well, that's true. What his angles are coming to the upper rectangle angle from side to side. It's not going around it. It's going to that peak above, not centered where you're coming up with another circle.
No, that's why I turn around. The reason is that my circle here is smaller than my rectangle. If it was larger, then I would not have this error.
Okay.
But you see, is if you bring it back, if your curve is the same, you can see that the amount that you're cutting off at the back here is less than what you're trimming as you move forward to the front, because it gets rounder. You can see that amount of material that you would remove is more in the front than it is in the back.
His lines is if you had a wireframe, his lines would be ending at the apex of the aft rectangle at the top.
Put my image on.
Yeah, it goes to a point.
Circle.
You spend a whole lot less time just getting you a piece of wood or whatever and measure that out to a point.
You see that?
A place.
Yeah,
and then
I do.
Carve it down.
So after you do the subsequent cuts, you end up with this surface, that one, and with this one here.
Right.
And that flat over there, and this flat on the top, which is about 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch or something like that, right? And then you blend the surface. But basically from this point to here is a straight line. From here to here it's a straight line. From here to there it's a straight line. From here to that point down there it's also a straight line. This is also a flat surface.
Very good.
Basically, everything's tapering into that top corner.
Right.
Yeah.
To a point. Yeah.
So I do that because then it's very easy to take your sheet and roll it around. Okay.
Exactly.
Except for the very back, which is kind of sharp and stuff like that. But if the back, but when you sand this, if you sand the back down ever so slightly to give it a little bit of clearance on the back side, then it's gonna mold nicely all around. So the back side is gonna be round on the top of it when you're done molding it. But basically, it's just I'm using this progressive shaping to achieve a bunch of flat surfaces, which are very easy to control and sand to some straight lines.
What'd be really cool is to leave all the flats in there, mold it like that, and it would look like you did a covering over a frame.
It does. It does when you do that.
Yeah.
And anything
when you
you
get
want
to
to do.
that point, all you got to do is take a piece of sandpaper. And I mean, I've seen Bob Hunt do that. And if Bobby does it, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if you didn't do that with the sandpaper, if you left all the flats in it, it would look like a cub or whatever.
If that's your goal, fine. I mean, it really doesn't matter.
For sure.
However, once you do all of that stuff over there, you're gonna have a hard time trying to mold on the flats and keep them flat, because balsa it's relatively rigid and it's gonna bridge across.
Yeah, it's not gonna stay flat.
Charles.
All right, you guys, I'm going to end the stream, but not end the program for us. Anyways, I want to just kind of do a real quick recap. When we first started the show, I was talking about the tank I made. So if you missed that part, you might want to go and watch the replay. And then we talked about shop organizations, organizing your shop, how you place things. John Miller is going through that right now. And then we talked about, I missed the conversation about the outside loops that Bill Cole did. So I'm just assuming you guys had a conversation about that when I was gone. And then we talked about tabletop services for your bench. And then we talked about the fuselages, how they help do the wing overs. And then Tryon did an excellent job explaining how he molds and how he shapes the blocks and that kind of stuff. And I think we had a good show. We had 20 concurrent viewers at one point. We had some dialogue going back and forth on the chat box. We had a new guy from Colombia. Herman Dario Placio Monslav or something like that. So hello to you. I don't speak Spanish, but I was a new guy, so welcome back. And of course, we had Gerald Wimmer out there and Jeff Riley, and I appreciate you guys out there. So
We used to have a guy from Colombia that got on, Charles.
this is a different guy. I remember the guy you talked about before. I remember him, but this is a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the guy from Colombia before. Come on back. I miss you. So anyways,
I wish we could get the guy on from England too. Remember, if we stayed on late, he'd get up and come on for an hour before he headed off to work.
yeah, well, you know what? There's room for people to do the show longer, or have another time slot. You know, Sparky has said that he'd be open to a broadcast every day of the week and different time zones. So,
Cool.
anyway, so I just want to close out the streaming part of the show. Thank you very much, everybody. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That builds the channel so that when you go to your home screen on YouTube, you'll see the Stunthangar videos being suggested. That's only going to happen by us liking and subscribing and sharing. And don't forget, the super chats are still welcome. Don't forget our YouTube memberships are $4.99 a month. That helps Sparky with the expenses of running this platform. And so thank you very much for coming out. And today is Monday, so we'll get together Friday. I'm open to be here Friday. I wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Please be safe. You know, keep it safe. You know, just small parties, intimate. And if you can do it outside, great. Anyways, thank you very much, everybody. And I'll see you guys again on Friday. So go out there and have some fun and come back and share it with us. All right. I'll see you.